Hello there everybody. I nearly broke the music there when I was coming back on. It is good music, thank you Jamie. It's a shame I nearly ruined it there. I think I just about got away with it. The name of that is Echo Field. I think that's a modern C64 track. I haven't quite got the author of that in front of me. Scrolled away. But it's a good track. Maniacs of Noise. It's very tempting to leave that one in the background. It's 25 minutes long, but I'm sure it'll just get too annoying, so I'll stop it right there. But one day when I'm confident coding, I'm going to have the music quietly on in the background. Good evening, Moz, my man. I've done lots of work on this again by myself. I wanted to get some TV in, you know, on my days off, chill out. But I found myself doing coding while I was watching the TV. So I've added, like, what did I actually add? Of course, I just duplicated it to the left side of the road as well, the left facing traffic as well as the right facing traffic, which you obviously would have seen just then. Other than that, oh, I added the ski shop into level 1. That is just a sprite, nothing more. Of course, oh, well, I say nothing more. There's a constant for the position there and there. So we'll be able to check the collision using that. We won't need any other sort of object, as it were. Of course, the sprite is there as well. I hope I don't run out of memory in this game. I can't see that I will. The only other graphics I really need are like a tree and some flags, different flags, a couple of different flags. Really, I'm supposed to have a sprite of him when he grabs the skis. So obviously you get over the road. The collision all works, by the way. I sorted all that out. It was something very minor, yet again, holding me back on that. Normally you should change sprite here. Now I could put something in the player draw code, so if he's in these positions here, just don't draw him. But I kind of don't mind it like that, to be honest. But you need to be able to grab the skis, so it's either like I have a little icon that appears in the UI, or I have a whole sprite, or I could put a little icon above his head now, just like a little skiing icon. I was wondering if I could get your thoughts on that actually. That'd be the only thing, the icon might go off the screen here. I'd have to come up with some way of not doing that. Wouldn't be too hard. I could have an icon just to the right hand side of him now, for example, right side of his face, you know, just have some skis floating next to him. At the moment, obviously, there's no indication that you've got them. I tested some stuff in the UI and it works this time. I don't know what was wrong with our other project, but as you'll see, I also created a main menu for this game, just virtually copy and pasted it from the other one. But what I can do is, just to test that, I can grab this code which just draws a string to the screen using ASCII. I can pop that at the bottom of level 1 update, move that to say 10 on the X. This is just a test completely. But as you can see, it actually draws in the UI. It's not been affected. So if I use only ASCII figures and UDGs in the UI, I don't need to do any buffer or modification to it. So I think I'll start out doing that right now. In this game you have cash instead of lives. So I'm just going to do it in the update loop, and then later I'll make it into a routine. I think it should have its own folder, really, the UI. Now, I'm tempted here to call it UI and come up with that right panel. I'm just going to start calling that a right panel. I'm going to reuse these in different games, you know. So eventually I'll have the double buffering will be paired with a UI, you know. Do you see what I mean? I hope you do. I hope that makes sense. I'll probably just call it this for now, but I need to come up with some name for it so I can call both of them that. They're sort of like a pair. Thanks, Moz. Yeah, it's a shame. I lost all like productivity online when I was streaming. I got to a stage, I don't know why, I was just not able to come up with working code. Hopefully I've overcome that now. Just with a small break. As soon as I was just chilling out watching TV, the code was just pouring out and working straight away. UI, what do I want to call this function then, or routine? I guess something as simple as just do UI. I'll call it draw, but it's not really draw, it's using ASCII. So I'm typing. So I can just copy a lot of it from here. I mean, let's just copy this whole thing in there for now. Obviously this is only going to change the ones in this files, so I'm not having to do anything like filtering. We have one for cache. That's perfect. Don't need that. Don't need that. We don't need to update the UI every frame. I use the word update when I'm going to call it every frame. So I might call it update again, but it'll be like worded differently. You'll see what I mean if I do use it. But normally if it's a one shot thing, I come up with a different way, like set. Because UI, you just change one shot, you just change it and leave it. So anyway, that's going to write the word cache. Do I need a space? I don't think I do right now, and obviously it's easy to add one. Get rid of that. So that's our template for how to draw strings to the UI. We'll just try. I mean, we can make it so each level has its own UI. I could have gone a step back, which would have meant going to the main loop here, which is going to need fixing because it's only about level 1 right now. The main menu has its own loop, so it's a kind of hybrid of what I was doing before that I was trying to avoid, but it ended up more convenient again to do it. So I sort of see why I did it last time now. So this main loop's very insignificant, really, in the main menu. Once you get into main, you're okay, like because we jump to main from here. So it's, like I said, a hybrid. It's a bit of a mix-up, and it probably needs fixing. But for now, it works. And I'm just gonna, what I'm getting at is I'm gonna draw my UI independently in each level, which means duplicating work that I might not need to duplicate, but it gives me slightly more flexibility. So we can just simply call draw UI. Of course, I need to include it. Okay, and I believe that's good enough just to get the word cache in our UI. Let's see how that looks. Oh, I'll have to change the position, of course. Our game window is 24 in width, so it ends at number 24. So let's put this at 25. It's not there. Okay. That's a worry. Funny how it worked on the other one. I wonder if I just put it at 23 just for argument's sake, because the other one was overlapping. I don't think this will work. Oh, there's a return at the top there. What the hell? Didn't see where I got that from. Sorry about that. Just go back to 25. Of course, I'll set a constant in a minute for where I want, but it probably doesn't need to be tailored to the length of the string. Right, that looks moderately okay. I'd say move it over one more and move it up. I think I'll move it up to 0 actually. So why not X or A? And then that can be 26. Right. So we haven't got much space for characters there, have we? I've noticed it already. Our cache, we don't want to be a millionaire. But that looks okay. My score routine is a very interesting one, but a very flexible one. I feel like copy and pasting it in from my other project from a very long time ago. But I basically, if you want to have a number over 255 for cash, you've got to come up with some other way of doing this. You've got to basically limit yourself to one digit and come up with a counting algorithm yourself. And I have already done that in code. You also have to add a complication that you have to add a variable, an amount, sorry, like what I've got here. You have to add that to it, to the number, otherwise you won't get the right result, of course. Which makes me wonder, I always did wonder why they didn't start the 0 at 0. But anyway, maybe that was just too simple. They didn't like it. So draw UI. Oh. So of course I could just write ASCII at here. Seems like we've got 2 of everything. And then I could, if I really wanted to, put cache label X equals 26. If I really wanted to. That's going to make it easier if I do want to move it around. See, I could, if I didn't want to center it, I could have the cache label at 24 and I could just start at, might be worth doing that, you know. It would probably look a bit crap though. Nah, let's not do that. Let's just leave it like that. So yeah, the score's the interesting one, because you want basically a value for score times 1 times 10. Oh, I'm hating them spaces. Oh, how irritating. I actually want quite a lot of numbers here. This is cache, what am I doing? Let's leave it at that then. Right, so now we want to draw each one of them numbers in the right place. And then we need an algorithm to work out from our score. Well, what I tend to do is actually increment it. What's the word? Rather than just saying add 200 to score, I actually have an algorithm that affects these numbers directly. So I'll say like add 1 cache, and in add 1 cache it'll check if it's 9, and if it is, it adds 1 to 10, goes back to 0, and then the same thing and the same thing. Each of these can only go up to 9, of course, for that to work. But for now, let's just print all zeros there. So I'm going to use this weird old technique. Oh, it's not X or Y, of course, this time. Leave 1. Wait a minute. This is the Y. Interesting, yeah. I'm not sure how this Y value works, whether it's in character cells. It should be in character cells, I would have thought. Then we want to load its X position. For now, let's just do 24. But they're going to be nudged along in a minute. What we need to do here is add the ASCII that I showed you a minute ago, ASCII 0, which is 0x30, to that number, and print that character. It's really tempting to go back to my working code that I've got somewhere else from a very long time ago, because I do remember getting stuck on this for a short, not a massive amount of time, but because I don't think we actually do need to call that to do this. We just want to print one character. Can't remember what the actual command to do that is. Have a quick look. Oh, you can just load A and then RST16. I should have known that. So basically, you could just do that, add, which I don't think you can do, but that's what you want to do basically, and then RST16. That's going to print the number 0, and then you can change that to a 9. Let's do that. Let's change it to a 9. I don't think it'll let me do that though. That's illegal. I think I have to add that to another register first. Yeah. In my other code that I've already written ages ago, I managed to simplify this into a very simple, nice little way. Can't remember which way round I did it. I think you can simply switch them around actually. Yeah, because you can add a constant number, but you can't add a variable. So that should hopefully just print 9 for us underneath cache. And it does. Perfect. So like I described verbally a minute ago, all we have to do is come up with a way of saying add 1 to cache. I mean, we've got space for 1s, so we may as well have 5 being like the denomination, I guess. You know, the minimal, or even 1. Or in fact, we can have cache 1 like that, but we just never use it. That'll just always be 0. So when we'll add 10 to cache and just do it as I described. When it gets to 90, it'll just say, okay, add in that routine. It'll say add 1 to 100, make this 0. Simples. Copy this. Excuse me. I think it needs nudging over by 2. Just do that now. And see what that looks like. And of course this is backwards. I need it to be the other way around. Let me just zoom in on that. I can't see it very well. I'm going to need 5 and I to match it up with the writing. I mean, I'm worrying about something that's really irrelevant. For now, let's just get rid of that colon. And then, yeah, and I'll just put 4 zeros in. That'll do. Right, it's a little bit messed up because the big ones need to be the first ones, so that's it. I think that's going to be buck up. Okie dokie. So you can start life with 30 quid. There we go. Skis cost a tenner. Ambulance costs a tenner. It ain't gonna last long. Right, that's ready to roll. It just needs some of that functionality I was talking about. And why not do it in the UI file? So let me think logically about this. When are we going to want to add money? Do we ever add money? I mean, we remove money, yeah, but cash was a bad example to start off with, because actually it's made to look more complicated than it is. That we're only ever going to mess around with that number 3, and we don't even need to mess around with that. We can just reduce it by 1 each time until it gets to 0, and that's it. It's game over. So although it's nice and snazzy and it eased me into today's stream, we can just use that as a template, because right below that we'll have, that was basically lives. We'll have score now. Let's just copy it. Copy the whole lot. I prefer bigger space than that. Or maybe just a comment. Cash money. So most of this remains the same. Score. Annoyingly, it's 1 bigger, the length of the word. Can I think of a better word? Points, maybe. I love points. Points is such a bad name for score though, and it could mean so many different things. We'll just call it points, but in the code it'll be score. Oh, why not? Use the old trick. Alright, so we don't want it at 0. We don't want it at 1 or 2. We'll have it at 3. Score label X will set up in a minute. So that's all good. This will be at 4. They'll all be at 4. I've decided as well I want 2 extra digits for score. Oops. Right, so it was 2 bigger, so I want to go backwards 1, and obviously that's going to offset it perfectly. I'm going to write points. Start with 0. I want 2 more of them. There we go. So that means we need to add 2 more up here. 1 at the top and 1 at the bottom. That's the very top one. That needs to go at 1, as does that, and that, and that. Then we have 1 more. Move it along 1. Change it to that one. There we go. That is actually all good now. And again, we just got to write this nasty routine to go through them. I've written it many times. I have got a working one on my computer somewhere. But oh, look at this bug. It's just started up. That's new. I did recently change this to 666 because I just for the video for the intro I just wanted more cars. Like it seemed to go dead for quite a while. Yeah, we've got a bug here. VSync. Try putting that to 3 because I did just add a load of code. Maybe it's slow, that ASCII at crap. It slowed the game down considerably, but it doesn't lag that. So I've got to come up with. What am I on about? I'm such an idiot. I'll put this back to 2 because the game is very playable at that speed. This is, I'm calling it every frame. Didn't want to do that. I even mentioned that. We'll just call it in start. Should be fine. Yeah, and then when we change something, we'll just call draw UI again. Oh, that's much better. Hello, Quasar. I've missed all your messages. Sorry, I didn't see about. Oh, do you get $10, dear? Okay, thanks, Moz. We can definitely do it, but we'll do it on the score first because, you know, it's always going up, isn't it? Anyway, that's sweet now. So all we have to do is call draw UI, which is finished. I'll put a fin at the bottom of it so it can do that. That's finished with. So you get 1,000 points. Do you happen to know how much, like, the smallest amount of points are you can get? Hi, Quasar. You've called it. I just seen your message. You called it before I figured it out, but I still figured it out on my own just before I read it. I only need to redraw it. Yep, yep. I'm about to do that now. We'll change it here, and then we'll call draw UI at the bottom. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take any time to draw that, does it? Though we're only drawing it one time. We can write cash again. It won't hurt. I'll just say add 50 points, yeah, because that sounds like a nice number that you might get for doing something good. So of course here we'll do that. So really, if we're going to add 50, we want to check that this isn't already 50. Not that one, but the score version of it. Increments 5 when you cross the road. Okay. I mean, you can go up to the hundreds of thousands on my one, but let's do 5 then. Why not? It's the exact same principle. So basically, we want to check score 1 is not at 5, and if it is, put it to 0 and put 10 up by 1. So that all the higher ones will need an incrementation by 1 routine, but the score will be 5. The first one will be 5. So really, the logic I've already got down in my head. I know exactly how to do this, but How to do it tidily is the key. I mean, what I want to do is say yes, score equals 0. No, score equals 5. This is where my brain always just defaults to writing a little jump label. But it's got to be the wrong way. It's so untidy. I mean, A already equals score 1 there. Can I rely on that? Better not. We're not calling this every frame anyway, so I don't really need to worry too much about optimizing it. I don't even need to do that. It's so tempting to get out of one I've already worked on, but I'm not going to. I'm going to write another one here now. I mean, I've learnt more, way more now, so I should be better equipped to do one now. It's just how to do it tidy, isn't it? Forget the draw UI bit and all that. If it is equal to 5, jumps. Oh, not jump. Cool. Ooh, if I jump to it, I can return out, can't I? Maybe that is cleaner. Because then if it's not true, whatever happens underneath, that's going to be good. So that just means I need another one of them in there. And also I'd need to call I need to increment this one by 1, score 10. Do that in a minute. So let's pretend that returns out like it should, rather than jumping back or anything. Okay, thank you, man. So if you're touching road, you're getting points basically if you're moving. That's not too bad. When we do the move code, we'll just check if he's in the road position and basically call this very function every time he is. So I guess we will be calling it every frame at some point. I might have to come up with a way of drawing the UI less frequently then. I don't know. Let's get something written. If it jumps to there, I'm going to pull that in actually and tidy it up. Oh, oh dear. If it jumps to there, it'll never reach this bit here. So therefore we'll set it to 5. must be 0. Nothing for sideways. Okay, that's good. That's specific. It's very good. I mean, I'm already noticing it is a bit of an annoying game because I could make them. I'm not going to make the movement where it is like it is in the original, where you press up and it just goes. Although it is harder like that. But my game world is thinner, so the cars are more likely to hit you. So therefore, I have to like make the cars less likely to spawn. Really. But it's only really a demonstration. This really, the Mikey one. When I thought that was going to finish, I thought this is going to be like actually a really good Spikie game. Sadly, just ran out of room. Gonna have to come up with ways on that one, like way into the future. Let's get this working. This is alright. Right, let's not mess this up. We'll definitely want to reset score 10, won't we? And at that point, that's when we want to increment score 100. Which I'll copy in a minute. It is going to cause bugs though, isn't it, if I try and do this, if I try and do that scoring mechanism there. Again, I don't have to stick to games rigidly. If I feel like it'll make it easier just by changing the gameplay, I will do that, I'll just give him score for getting the skis. I mean, I could easily just copy and paste this, not have the draw UI, and then just wait until he gets to the pavement and draw the UI one time. If I really have to. So it's confusing as hell, but I think it will work, or it'll be close to working this. But yeah, that would make a lot more sense. So yeah, I can just create another version of that. It just asks what digit and position stuff first. Yeah, I see. So in other words, if we change a digit, just draw that digit. I understand. I can do that, I think, but it just involves writing a slightly different version of that. But let's finish this for a sec because it's not finished yet. Once I've done this one, I can copy and paste the rest. I mean, I could have done it the other way around and just incremented it if it was 10. I think that's how I did it before, actually. But just immediately after, if it's 10, set it to 0. But it was very similar to this, and I'm sure this will work. I'll get there in the end. Load 8, compare it to 9. If it is, jump to here, set it to 0. Cool, increment, score 10. But it's going to be score 100, which will make it a minute. I'll stick with the draw UI stuff for now, so I can change it out later for my new one that I make. Let's try that. There's quite a few of them to go through. In fact, I can just paste what was already there and add 2 zeros. It's probably easy to see. Oh, I don't know actually. Well, after this, there's one more. I don't think I've missed anything. If it reaches 100,000 or 999,000, tough luck. This just stops basically, because what happens is, of course, I need to add the zeros. Gets to 9, it jumps to here, we do nothing. For now. No one's ever gonna no one's ever gonna reach that score, trust me. It's all for show. So I guess let's put this to the test by just incrementing 5 every frame in it. Just add score every frame. See, I probably could have called this like road score or whatever, you know. Add road score. But add 5 points is more descriptive. Let's just pop it in this update routine here. I know this is probably likely to glitch it because I'm drawing it every frame now. Oh, it didn't compile anyway. Score 10 is undefined, is it? Okay. Don't look undefined to me, but It's underscore 10, isn't it? It's not going up, and also we got the glitching. But with the glitching I can live with. I know why that is now. Can get rid of that. I want to figure out why it's not showing the new numbers before I make the customized draw routine just to draw the whatever numbers change. Um, let's do if I press a key. It's still glitching. I didn't even press the key yet. That's interesting. And of course it doesn't go up. That's a bit strange how it glitched. Even when... Isn't that interesting? Surely that would never get called. But how does that... I don't understand how that affected it that badly when it wasn't even getting called. But just from doing that, basically. I can't see that making much difference. Might do. Yeah, it's made all the difference. But we still haven't got it incrementing. Oh, oh yeah, I do. I was going to say I never set it back. Oh, yeah. I should be setting it to 5. Still not going up though. Oh, and we got some lag, some pixels. I can't see why at least it doesn't go to 5 on the first key press. Definitely doesn't. I mean, that stumped me because These could all work for all I know, but if this doesn't go up, can't see why it wouldn't draw it properly, because it pulls it from the variable. I'm definitely going to take on board what Quasar said and make it so it only changes the relevant digits. But first I want to see this work, and then I can work from there. Add 5 points. Returns after adding 5 points. What's the problem? Let's just try without that in there for a second. Still don't go up. What could possibly cause that? Oh, here, mate. But I've tried just out of interest. I'll try it without any of the bull crap. Obviously, we'll get loads of stray pixels now. I did already try this. Oh, it's gone up to 5 now. Finally, it went up to 5 then. It's hard to see from my angle here. It's quite small, the little window it gives me. It doesn't go up with the key press thing for whatever reason. The glitches appear when I hold D, which means it's getting called every frame, isn't it? I'll try and do your thing first then. It's annoying because it's going to mean adding more code to this and we don't know if it works yet. Maybe, yeah, maybe. It is odd glitch because the glitches I find usually appear in a bit of the screen that I'm not drawing to as well. They do sometimes appear on the game window screen, but normally they're over to the edge where the UI is, where I don't draw to. So that's directly in the screen memory, you know, for it to appear there. Very weird, man. I wish I could understand it better. I think the ones on my screen vanish because I draw every frame to that bit, if you know what I mean, game window. 48k. Yeah, but I'm doing it through a video buffer. Like, I learnt it from a book. It's quite a sound technique. Show you how it's done, how I do it. Here. So I have a game window which I specify where I want the memory. That's like in the available memory, yeah, for us. And then that's where the actual video memory is. Good, good. Because then I'm just doing that. Once I learnt this, I was able to draw things pretty well. Like every frame. Yeah. To answer your stack question there. It's sneaky what we're doing with the stack, isn't it? It's quite a good trick, I thought, when I learnt it. We save the stack pointer and then we just use it to our advantage, point it. where our memory is and pop it back after moving it to the video memory. Obviously in reverse, look, pop, push. Okay. In that case, my VSync function thing, which doesn't actually work correctly, but it does serve to slow the game down, will always stop them glitches. If you just put that amount up, it'll give us more. See, it's got rid of them. But of course, I've just cost myself frames per second now. That means we're getting 50 divided by 3. And I think I'm calling that twice in my code. One just before drawing the window and one just before drawing to the memory. But you probably hit the nail on the head. That must be what's happening. It just catches it when it's not supposed to. But that solves it by just slowing the thing down. I don't know the answer to that question, Micro. Okay, so it just resets back to the start of the program, does it? Even if it's not got all the way through it, is that what happens? Don't know how it works. Or does it just carry on going, regardless of when the interrupt occurs? Anyway, that kind of works. Oh, that's the sprite drawing crap. Close double buffering. Oh, I was going to write a version of this that just asked for the what's it called? Can be a pointer to that to change that, and then positions it once as well in advance. So if we say, I guess DE is XY position, and then HL. See, I don't know whether RST16 breaks these or not, but score pointer. So that should do that, shouldn't it? Spikie's interrupt routine does. Push to stack and pops. Okay. Yeah, that does kind of explain it. I mean, I'm sure to an expert it fully explains it, but to me, it does shed some light on the issue. ROM reference. We really do, Micro. I need that. That would be so good. I do have a cheat sheet, but it covers like all systems, not just the Spectrum, and I only use it really for the colours. Okay, Quasar. Sometimes I do feel like there's some black magic going on. You seem to understand what the black magic is, if you get what I'm saying by that. There's certain elements to what I'm doing here, and I just don't know how it works. But you seem to understand every single step of the way. Can I just call it draw digit? Yeah. I want to load. This is a pain. The position, I mean. I'm going to make some constants for each score's position just to make my life easier. Was it 24? I think it was 25 on it. The Y I'm not so worried about. 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. And of course they're backwards, so it's that way around, isn't it? Right. So unfortunately I've just got to keep passing it through A to get it to these, as far as I can tell. Oh, and it wants the Y first. That doesn't matter. But I will do it above just to remind me next time I look at it. Score Y 4. Let's just put it down there, it's easier. And then if I point HL at the score 1, that's all good. Of course, we need to change it there as well, of course, don't we? Draw digit. Thanks, Quasar. I may well be still here after 10. I'll see, I suddenly get tired and then I have to go off, but at the moment I feel great. Thanks for stopping by with all the advice, it really helps. Yeah, so I've just done the same thing twice in both of them, but that's fine. So lots of repetition. Increment score 10. Same with reset score 10, we're going to need it. increment score 100. I think I've set it up so I can just copy and paste out the digit for UI now and change the number. I mean, I don't think this will fix the problem necessarily, but at least it's not changing the whole UI every frame. Okay. Seems okay. Clip to paste about the edges. Go for it. Score Y undefined. Alright, well, it's not going up, the score. But at least we get no glitching whatsoever now. Good. Most odd. The weirdest thing is, where is it? The weirdest thing was if I get rid of this conditional here, it does go to 5 at that point. Oh no, it hasn't this time. Okay, maybe there's something further up the chain that I got rid of. Got rid of it. Oops. Good, it's gone to 5. Hopefully it might just work now if I change that back, if I put this thing back. I doubt it. I doubt it very much. Oh, whoa, it went to 5 and stayed there. Zero. It should be adding 5 every frame. It's locked at 5, isn't it? I'm reading your message. What's the ML routine? Ah, That sounds crazy, yeah. See, I've not got enough knowledge, man. I don't know how to tell, like, when the interrupts is occurring and stuff properly. I don't know what memory I'm in or anything, you know? I just know when my memory starts. That Quasar hit the nail on the head with that stack pointer thing, I think. I need to somehow check that that's not occurring when I do that, all that pushing and popping routine, the draw game window routine. Let me try the famous set board of green here. See if it ever does this reset one thing. Oh, it is doing it though. For a start, that shouldn't be above that. The increment call needs to be last. These returns are irrelevant because don't I jump to it? Oh no, call it. Okay. Jump to digit, call digit. I don't think it actually matters which way around they are actually. But I'll put them all that way around. Oh. Oh, this has probably got something to do with it. These look wrong. I don't think this will make much difference, but it could. It could. Nah. Don't know really. That's very strange. Because I know that was getting cool because I put the green thing in there. This here. Ah, I know what it is. Haha, yeah. I added the ASCII to it, didn't I? That's why it's not working. I need to separate the ASCII part. Oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe I've already separated that. No, I think it is separate actually, because it just adds the ASCII right there before it prints it. Adds that value. I never store it back. So they should be remaining like at 0 and 5 for that first one. Whew. Load A, score 1. Compare 5. Jump if true. If it's equal. Then return. I really don't know, you know. Just wonder if I, just out of interest, if I just put like score test DB8 and then in here point it as score test instead. I just want to see if it prints 8 now. Yeah, that's an 8 in it, yeah. Very strange. That should work. I can't see why it doesn't. I'm convinced it's this top bit that's letting it down. It's getting hot. I'm just going to go and get a drink. Maybe that'll help me when I get back. Won't be a sec. Right, sorry about that. So, why is this not incremented? I think on the last time I made this, I didn't go up by 5, I think I went up by 1, but it shouldn't make much difference. Hmm. I mean, here I rely on A not changing. I can't see that it would change. Nah, no difference. That wouldn't make any difference either. Add points. So if 5 was 0, it's going to come down to here, set it to 5, draw the digit, which I think it does. And it's equal to 5, so it calls this, or jumps to it. Most odd. So what happens if I set this to be? Yeah, it works perfectly for that. So for some reason they're not getting changed. It can stay like that, the score, for now. I wonder, I'll just set it to 5. Interesting. It notched it up by 1. It's like it's only getting called once. I can't imagine why that would be. Let's try it on player move down. Let's just put it in there. Weird. So now it doesn't notch up What, even once? I was trying to move up. Still, I moved up at least once. No. That's crazy. Hmm. Is there any reason why it's not getting... Well, it's not... It's exiting out. Just wonder if I put that into 6. It should move the number down a bit on the screen. It doesn't. So it never gets to there. I think that's what the problem is. It never reaches here then. But I don't know why. Load A. Only if it's equal to 5 would it call there. So it is getting called whenever we press down. This is just weird now. It's just refusing to change the numbers. Do I put equals instead of dB or something? No. So we know it gets to there. Okay, in that case, let's try changing it to 5, so it should never get to there. Unless it changes itself to 0. It still gets there, even though... So what's happening is that compare 5 is messing up then. Even though I'm quite sure I tried that already in reset score. Still gets called. What's it doing? Just out of interest. And now it's not getting called, which is what I would have expected. So it is getting called. It's almost like it's setting it to 5 and back to 0. Ah, for a start, I don't think. Oh yeah, that's where I set it right there. Maybe I'll try and peek in my other project, see if I can figure it out in there. It's from a long time ago now. I see. Here we go. I found it. Um, oh, funnily enough, I'm new. See, I don't think I'm doing it very well back then. But I set all the scores instead of 0. I set them to ASCII 0. I've got something called score amount and then something called score 10. So I've separated them, like I was saying, basically. Let's have a look at this. It looks pretty simple. Paste it in. Let's just paste it all the way down here for now. It's very similar to how I've done it this time. Except for, like I said, compared 10. Maybe that was better. Why am I adding it there? It's so weird. See, in this one, I could only increase by 1, and the minimum was 10. But I could do that now, can I? Okay. That's well interesting. So there's somewhere in the middle, basically, like the centre chunk of the road increases by 5. Okay, I see. No, that's interesting though. I'm pretty certain it's something to do with this ASCII crap. This I wrote so long ago. I'd only just got into machine code or assembly language at the time. So that was all I needed actually to get this one working instead. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow, mate. Music links. Much appreciate the follow, mate. So I'm going to try just commenting out my code and just increasing score by 10 instead to see how that works. Of course, I'll have to adapt that one. I've just pasted in to do draw digit. It looks like this doesn't refresh the UI at all, just a number. Just before any of the returns, I just need to copy what I had here. I'll move this all about in a minute. I hope this works. I think it will. It was very similar to how I had it before. The check was just done at 10 instead of 9. Really. Oh, what have I just done there? Okay. So instead now we're just gonna, I'll just increase by 10. Oh, did I remove that? No wonder it wasn't working. Oh, I knew it was somewhere. Player 1. Oh, it's in the movement thing. Still no joy. Something else is causing this problem. Because that code I just pulled was from working code. I think I will actually go all the way back. Try and get back to where I was before, because I like the way I've done it now for a couple of reasons. Not least that you don't need any of this stuff. Right. This is a tidier version of that. It's slightly tidier in that the drawer adds the ASCII on afterwards, whereas before I was even more of a novice and I was adding it on every single time before I fed it into this at command thing. But still, I'm so puzzled as to why that doesn't work. I really, really am. We know it reaches here. Yeah, quite honestly, I'm at a complete and utter loss. Because I have done in more than one game privately before I even started streaming. I've done this in 2 games, and it was one of the final things I implemented where I was thinking, wow, that just works. So I made this little routine up, and it just worked straight away for me that time. And I thought, maybe I can make some videos doing this. No, it just doesn't work. I mean, even if we uncomplicate it and make it add 1 point, increment 0.1, that would just mean compare 9. Okay. Look, it's gone up by 1. It flashes green. Well, yeah, it should do that every frame actually. That's the set border blue, but it calls this as well. So we know it reaches there. So it should be 9 at that stage. Do you see what I mean? What a shame. Just gonna have to give up with it, I think, and try something different. I mean, something really stupidly simple is just for him to collide, checking the collision with the hat shop. I think I'll just make a separate routine because with this one it's iterating through an array. Hat shop's just got a fixed constant position. Just check collision, why not? So I'll put the player X position into B. The shop width is 48, so let's add a constant for it. It's 48, but that's actually 6 in width in bytes. Oh, I've just escaped it. And its height is 24 pixels. So the shop's right hand side is in A because I'm going to add a shop width. And the player's left hand side is in B. So if A is smaller than B, there's no collision. What's this add-on about? I don't want that here anymore. Alright, so that's the first one. This time it's the shop's left hand side. Getting loaded into B. Did I say the shop's left hand side? Yeah. It's the wrong way round again, isn't it? I've done it the wrong way round. Oh no, that's in B, of course. Yeah. Yeah, so shop's left hand side in B. Player X in A plus is width. And again, if it's smaller, there's no collision. Wait, I don't even need that jump label for this one. Just return C. But now it's just the exact same thing with the Y. Or at least it should be. Although it might be backwards, so let me have a think about it. player's head. Yeah, it is backwards, isn't it? I think I did have it right the first time. That's going to work anyway. I think I'll put the other one here. I don't know, there's a creeping feeling in me that this is wrong. Alright, let's see if it works. It should go pink when we get to the hat shop. I keep calling it hat shop because it was in my last rip-off of this game. Ski shop. So of course it goes pink when we hit the car. I've set it to do that as well. Not doing it when we hit the skis. I had this problem before and I started messing with my code, and then I found actually it was all because I was setting the border in the wrong time. So I'm going to try and go back and find any reference to setting the border, such as that, and comment that out. Right at the start I'll set it to blue. It should be blue. I think God knows why it went green. So there's definitely more we've got to go and find. Let's try and find it, that. Let's give it a car one. Car ones are perfect. Here we go. Oh, does it go pink when we reach that hat store? That ski store? No. Oh, and there's an obvious reason why not. Where am I? Where even is it? Here. This needs to be called. And it even gives you a clue when it says 0 references there above. I've forgotten what we're actually doing there. Oh, we're just checking on the shop. So we could get away with just doing it in the movement code if we wanted. But I think I'll just call that every frame for now. Cool. See, I could set a bool when we're colliding, and that way I could not draw the sprite if we're colliding with that. Well, we'd have to be like level with it, wouldn't we? Not just colliding with it. That's another thing, it's going to collide too early. There we go, see. We need to collide only when you're that level. So we need to adjust our Y. Our Y check. which actually needs to be simpler than this. We just need to say return if not equal. So now if you're here, no good, no dice. Same as here, but here it's fine. Probably want to make it so that you have to be completely inside the hut, I guess. And the way we do that is check. This is the left side. This is actually the right side of the hut. So what we'll do is we'll just add player width there. That should do it. And pretty much the same goes for here. At the left side of the shop, we just want to remove. I think that'll work for us. Oh dear, didn't even compile. 168. Oh, add A. Okay, so I want to only to collide when we're really inside that shop. That's good. Right, that's perfect. I'm happy with that. I'll just try the other side now. Then I'll change the set border thing. Get rid of it. Perfect. Maybe even a bit further over, isn't it? Like 2 character cells over. Interesting. I was just about to add that, but I think I need to subtract or just add it there. Just add an offset of 2. Oh, again it hasn't compiled. The same line. Oh, the same mistake. So only when you get in the door I want it to collide. Perfect. Eventually I'll add a ball so that when we're colliding with the hut, your sprite doesn't get drawn. So I'll add the ball right now. We'll set it to false there. And then we'll set it to true down here. Okay. And then in the player's draw code, we can simply put the very top Collision check sort CP true. Turn Z. Let's try that. So hopefully we'll go in the hut now. Yay! There's a tiny delay, unfortunately. That could be just to do with the order of my calls. Maybe I could change that. It's not bad, actually. I could even lock right once you go into the hut. Yeah, let's do that. So, oh, why did I just close that? I didn't mean to do that. So where I tried to move right, this is the funny thing with assembly language. You can kind of bolt on functionality like this and it just gets really messy. But it's kind of fun as well. We can just do the same thing here. So we just won't let us move right now. So the only thing we'll be able to do is walk into the shop and walk out from the door. Alright, I'm trying to go right. I'm stuck in the hut. Left takes me out. It works superbly. The only thing is that little lag where, well, there, I need to maybe change the offset a little bit. I'll probably change it to 1. Well, we've only got a choice of leaving it at 2 or having it as 1. I think I'll even give it its own value, its own name. Shop door offset. Let's try 1. Some of them cars seem to vanish when they hit me. That's strange. But that works pretty goddamn well now. I'll upload that to the GitHub. At least there's a kind of working, functioning level 1 in there almost now. Call this part 3, I think it is, isn't it? Cheers, Micro. I'm still going to carry on for a little while longer. But it's nice to have it on GitHub when you know it all works, isn't it? At least we can come back to there if we need to. Right. So that was remarkably easy. It's nice to do something simple for a change. That whole routine fits into that sort of 25 lines there. Where to go next? I'm going to pretend the score works for the minute because that's frustrated me. And perhaps I can do that when I'm watching TV and it will just come to me how to fix it. But yeah, I'm not obsessed with keeping the scoring routine the same by any means. I mean, it sounds like that's quite a good way of doing the scoring for them. But I mean, the gameplay needs a tweak, to be honest, because the way the cars spawn, it's too random. I've noticed there's long periods where there's hardly any traffic, and then sometimes there's loads. Like this is the first level. I'd be pretty much dead already, I think. Definitely now. Get skis. I'm dead. I need to speed up Mikey, don't I? I mean, that's another easy task. At least I've got the score up there, so if any passerby looks at the game, it looks like it's implemented.
Got it!
I got the sound effect exactly at the same time as I laughed. That was brilliant. I'm going to add loads of them. What was I going to do? When I play the game again, I'll probably figure it. Oh, I was going to speed them up. Let's try that. Look at it. That's doable now, at least. It's kind of fun. You know, it's never going to blow anyone's mind, this game. It's something you play for 5 minutes for a laugh. It's almost ready to demonstrate going into level 2 now, isn't it? Because you can get hit by a car and killed. Or live. He seems to move a little bit too fast, maybe. Although I do like it. Better than being too slow, isn't it? Oh, see, I still died. I need to make it. That's the next big task, is making it so it's got some buffer side on the left and up. Because I haven't got any at the moment. If I could just do like 2 bytes worth on the side and then sort of 16 pixels above, where we don't ever draw to, but we could if we wanted, you know what I mean? And I don't think it'll take very hard, you know, it won't be that hard to think about. It'll be done in here, and it'll be an offset either here. There'll be a couple more offsets perhaps at the most, just to say a couple more for each one. I think just one more for each one, but maybe 2. Speed changes of the car during level changes. I think they actually change constantly. Like, they don't actually stick at a constant speed. So that's another thing I do need to improve on the game. I've got very little control. That's something I need to learn. Because at the moment I've only got a choice between 1 and 2 speed. I've got to come up with some way of that timer style thing we were discussing, haven't I? Where it ticks down each frame, you know, and then moves it. Maybe I could start to implement that now. Right now the speed is just a number in there. And obviously that's an integer, yeah? It can't be a float. Yeah, like a counter, basically. But I guess they're going to have their own one each, aren't they? Oh, I've got an idea. Because of course we've got a frame counter already. That's what like a frame is when we iterate through it. So we know roughly how many frames we've gone through each time. But if I put an extra value on here, speed, and then speed timer, and all them will be 0 again. Doesn't actually matter how many of them we've got, by the way. Of course, too many will probably be bad, but that'd be alright. So now we've got 1 extra of them. Let me see if it compiles and runs as we expect it to. Yes, it does. So it seems now I've added that feature. I just need to use it. What I need to do is because I've got speed, but now they're only between 0 and 1. But now I could make it say 11, and I could just keep adding it until it gets over timer. That would mean a higher speed still goes quicker, doesn't it? Yeah. So I quite like that. So if I make speed timer, oh god, I've got confused. I think like you used the right word, I should call it speed counter just to make it clear in my head. This is another needless constant here, but I'll have vehicle speed. God knows. Yeah, but how can you do that in this code? Because it can't do floating points. That's the problem. I'll just have this nonsense thing called vehicle speed time, right, this time. And put it as that. Let me imagine what I'm going to do here now. No, I can't either micro, to be fair. I near enough always do add. I don't even like doing subtract. Seem to get weird results with that sometimes. And even minus numbers struggle me, let alone floating points. But you can make some quite cool games without those features. If you actually think about it, it is possible. Especially something like Horace. I get to certain points with some things and I think I can't spend too long learning that. I'd rather learn something more modern if I'm going to put that much effort into it. It's a bit like that debugger thing. I'll spend a few hours here and there, but if I have to spend hours and hours and hours figuring it out, I'd rather just learn Unreal Engine. Yeah, you know. But yeah, it's a balance because I can easily spend 6 hours just going, oh, does this one work? Does this one work? You know, so it's a balance really, isn't it? But I'm going to have something like a speed which will get set and then never change, which we've already got a constant for here, look, and it just depends what type it is. So yeah, here, speed. So I'll change bikes to, let's say, 20. And I'll change car to 2 for now. Or let's say 5. Yeah, I think this will work, won't it? So the speed will stay constant after it gets spawned. This value here we have to increment every frame. When it reaches that, so we can even change that if we want to at a later date. When it reaches that, it increments the speed by 1. Yes. So the quicker vehicles will, of course, get moved quicker. Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think it's going to work. It's just how to do it, isn't it, without cocking it up. Where do I move them? Oh, well, for a start, when I spawn them. Oh no, when I spawn them, it's fine. They're all 0. Oh, but yeah, but they get spawned again, you see, and recycled. So I've got to set them to 0. Just do it here. I think you can actually do that. No, you can't. But anyway, yeah, whatever. No, don't get confused by my rubbish. Let's just keep it nice and simple. It matches the rest of the code like that. We haven't done trucks yet. So that's that taken care of. In the update, this is where I want to find now the update. Here we go, vehicles move car. So let's just deal with the right ones. Oh. We finally get down to the point where we take speed and we add it to position. That's all absolutely fine, isn't it? We can just do that a step up from that. Like here. It kind of does. What it means is, because it's always going to be one unit to the right, but how long does it take to move to one is that number. Do you see what I mean? So imagine you've got 20 frames per second. We're going to add on the cars only 2 to that number, but on the bikes we'll add 20. Yeah. So that's how I'm going to. In my head it works, but getting it here on paper is a bit different, isn't it? But I believe I can just do the timer here, and once the timer bit's satisfied, then call move cars. So really, what I want. Oh, of course, it's done per vehicle though. So we can't do that. We've got to be in here. We're actually inside that each specific vehicle check-in. So this is the point where I've got to increment that timer and only move it. It's going to take quite a bit of messing about this. It's worth it though, because this will be like basically that sub-pixel movement we were talking about with Space Taxi in a way. I'm having a think. That's why I'm pausing here, because I don't want to get it wrong if I can help it. It can be done simply here somewhere. It's just knowing how. It's just not messing it up, like I keep saying. There probably will be another label needed. Actually, where we go to next, we could increment it then. And then when we move it, we just check that value. Call next if it's not there yet. In fact, yeah, we'll increment it here. So load A, IX plus 6, I think it is now. Add a IX plus 5, which is what we've called speed. That, of course, will now be 1 when we eventually do get to it. So in A now is the timer plus the speed. We definitely don't want it to be FF for a start. I kind of don't like that it's called timer either. Vehicle speed, clock, max. Let's just put that. And let's not put a hex number, let's put... If I put 200, that means as long as the vehicle's speed is less than 55, we're all good. So in fact, I'm going to put 220. So we can have speeds up to 20 easily and beyond if we want. That allows me to check if it's more than or equal rather than just making sure it always reaches that number. I knew I shouldn't have skipped away like carefree like I just did. Who's here? So in A, compare that to clock max. So we actually do want to set it back first in that logic. When I say set it back, I mean I've added it and it's in A, the value, but I want to put it back into ix6 so that it remains that new value. If it's less than, we just go to the next, like we normally would if it's dead. But if it's more than or equal to clock max, then this code below is going to get called, and it's still then going to go on to next. So that's why we've got to be careful. So all we want to do is move it like I've just done. We're going to want to, I don't know why why is B and A getting used there? So B now contains the X position. It's not needed. It's always going to go right, so inc A. That was just doing it so that we could have a variable in that speed. Right, so now we've moved it 1, and we want to reset ix6 to 0 at this point. Perfect. I actually think that's going to work. I may just not. Let's just get rid of the left cars for now. Just so we can make sure it works with these right ones. So what we're looking at is because what this will allow us to do is actually change the speed of vehicles on the fly, which I could have done anyway, but I would have only been able to change it between 1 and 2. If a bike was going 2 and a car was going 1. Of course I could have made them 3 as well, but that would have been a bit silly. They'd drive straight through you in many instances. You've not missed a great deal, man. I ended up giving up on the score. I've left it just as a sort of a bunch of thingies. Right now I'm adding the... Oh, it is working, look. I'm adding a variable score, like a sub-pixel kind of movement. So that they're now moving very slow, aren't they? Too slow. But that's okay. It's good, in fact, because at least then, you know, at first I only had the option between one cell per second. I mean, 1 cell per frame or 2, you know. At least now I've got more. I mean, for example, if I put... Oh, that's the only thing. I can no longer go faster than 2 cells per second now. At 1. Because if I was going to put a bike there, that means they go 1. And a saloon, 100. So it should be half the speed, roughly. And the bikes will be as slow as the cars were a minute ago. And that's dead on, like I said. That's pretty good, though. We've managed to slow it down and fine-tune it. I just got to come up with a better way. I mean, I'd love to use a 16-bit number, but I know that's going to cause me too much confusion. I mean, of course, they're getting spawned too often. That doesn't bother me yet. So, I don't like it, but I'm going to do I'm going to move it. Where's the right one? Come on. Oh, I'm in spawns. I'm going to move it by 2. It's going to get moved 2 every time. And now they should be roughly where they were a minute ago. It's a bit better. It gives more jerky movement, but more control, because now I can go in code and I can vary these, you know, so some of the cars are going different speeds. That was the aim of the game with this, but I can't think of a better way. Of course, if I could use a 16-bit number for the clock and for the max clock, that is an option. But then I don't think I can just use the A registers like I am now. This all has to be rewritten, like all this bit here. So I need to make a constant for that, and I'm just going to call it. Yeah, vehicles max speed. So this would be like the maximum speed a vehicle can move is 3 cells per second. And in order to do that, you'd set their speed to 220. But that gives us quite a bit of fine tuning, I think, now. Because I can put the bike speed down to, so we can even have variable bike speeds. Because I could put that down to say 180. Put the vehicle down to 65. Oh, they're very slow now. Why is one of them not moving? I didn't expect them to be that slow. I don't think I changed that down there, did I? I think I left it as 2. Yeah. It's not quite the autobahn, nah. What the hell's going on with him now? Look at that. That's very odd. Oh, copy and paste could definitely mess you up. Right, this might look a bit more normal now. No, not at all. They're going much slower than I thought they would. Hi, Fractal Mike. Just playing around again, really. Trying to. That looks goofy, but this is maybe good. Although maybe 2 is better for this value, max speed. But that does mean that obviously their max speed is slower. But they move a little bit smoother. I can do the ore on the sprites. I'm not worried about that at all. That'll take me 2 minutes. That's not too bad. Ignore that they're over spawning, because I'm going to come up with a way of making them not spawn if they're colliding with another one. It will just get despawned. And of course now I can put it up to 150. Actually, that's going to be funny. That will actually mess up if I do that. If you think about it, it'll go straight up to 300. That's why they're looking so slow. How about if we make this 200? Or, oh my god. Okay, Michael. I need to make this a multiple of something, like a multiple of 2 or 8. I'm not sure. So that I can use lots of these without them going over. Do you see what I mean? It's okay if it goes over as long as you allow for it. If that makes sense. I'll try 250, and then I'll keep these in multiple of 50 for now. Or multiples of 25 would be fine. Or 10. Yeah, multiples of, no, they wouldn't be fine. Because let's say I put the bike to 200. It's going to go up by 200, which will make it only 50, wouldn't it? It would rotate around. If I was a maths genius, I could do it in seconds. Such a goofy way of doing this, isn't it? That's a bit better. So the reason this was looking funny was I wasn't considering the multiples. If it goes over 255, it goes back to 0. So I have to bear that in mind. So I really only have a few options there for the vehicle speed. Going higher than 100 won't make any difference unless I go to 200. Going to 75 every 3 frames. I mean, really, it's got to be fully divisible by 200. If that makes sense. Then you'll know how many frames it's going to be until it hits that amount. I wonder what that looks like if you put it to 50 then, because I'm just thinking what a car would look like having some at 100 and some at 50. That might be alright. I'm not sure, but I think in the game they slow down like midway through the drive. Like, you know, they can slow down at any minute they want to. I think for simplicity, I'm just going to make it when they're spawned, their speed is decided randomly. And I'm just going to do saloons. Bikes are all going to be fast for now. Here's where we decide its speed. could just do. Well, in fact, let's do it before we load it into the register. That's going to destroy A though. So it's got a 50-50 chance of being a slow coach or a speedy. I'd love to have conditional load. That would be so good. But instead it seems we've got to just make label. It's one hell of a mouthful. And there's only two options. And we want to just return back to where we came from after we finished. We'll be able to assume that IX points at the right place. Oops. Okay. See if we've got some variable car speeds. They all seem to be going the same speed right now. They all look the same speed to me. Oh, is one of them quicker? Hmm. They all look the same speed to me. Guys, it's turned into quite a big function. I have to move here. God, they're so far apart. No, they're not. Ooh. Struggling to see why it's not working. Are they like all getting changed? It shouldn't be. I wonder if I put 0 there. It's 0. And what about here? Seems to do nothing. Struggles. I can't see how this would do anything, but seems like fewer cars. Maybe, I did think that, you know. I did think that. Seems like a lot fewer cars. Oh, but that seemed to do nothing. I'll try remove that. Remove that. Do that. And we're just going to observe if there's more cars. Try to. Oh, whoa. Oh, I've done the half one. At least we know it does work when it wants to. Ah, I'm an idiot. I'm an absolute idiot. Hopefully you've spotted the intentional mistake. I'll just check it, see if you have. See if you've absorbed any learning. Let me give you a hint. These two lines are at fault. I could give you a further hint in a couple of seconds. The flags. This is just a test of your learning. You can't get far in assembly without knowing what these do. But that's saying is it equal and not equal. I need C and then C. So it's less than or more than or equal. So there's a slightly higher chance. Well, there's not actually because I put 1 to 8. So there's a perfectly equal chance. Always something simple. Oh, I've got it going 0 still. Funny how they both went 0. Oh. Yeah, no worries. I mean, it's really hard to when you're looking at someone else's code. It's hard enough looking at your own, let alone someone else's. Right, he looks slow. Come on, overtake. Right, as a hint, as a test, I'm going to put plus times 2 on that one. So it should be easily noticeable. They all seem to be slow so far. Hey, there's a fast one. Oh, hey, they're coming through. And of course, we can change that on the seed. That's a slight improvement to how we were an hour ago. if you ask me. I know it looks jerky, the movement. That's far too many cars there. Oh, that was a good example though. I don't recall making that error. Maybe that's an error I've made before and not even solved. Because I don't actually remember making that error. And the next thing I need to do in terms of that speed thing I was doing is really I need to come up with a better way. But if I'm going to stick with this way, I need to come up with the very best number there that can allow me to like have multiple versions of that. Basically, I think it wants to be a multiple of 8. I think would help, or a power of 8. No, it can't be a power of 8.
A few moments later.
I'm gonna go for 248, and I think as long as I make it a multiple of that, so like this could be 124, and this can be 248. Another thing I need to do, which is a right pain, have I remembered to do it? I need to set it back. God, that's a mix-up. I don't know what's going on in this code. I do set it back, I think, there. Alrighty. So that should look much the same, but I've just given myself a little bit more breathing room, which gives me some more factors of that I can divide it by 3 now. Funny how all the cars are slow for ages. Anyway, that works well. For my maths, my bad maths, that's about the best I can do. Maybe there's a way of making this 255, but then if it goes over 255, it's 0, so it won't register as being over 255, and then you won't move. This gives us a little bit of buffer. I don't know. Maybe it's stupid that. Yeah, of course, Micro. That's what they're there for, man. It was fun. I love it. Few moments later. Oh, that was one thing I was going to try, was seeing what it looked like at 3, and also, yeah, of course, I could go up. I could times it by 2, or maybe even times it by 1.5. I'm not sure. Interesting. They don't move. Look how slow they are. Thank you for the follow, my man. Bud Pico, nice. Look how slow they are when you put them down to divide by 3. So sadly, I won't be able to use that. So I can still only divide it by 2. Oh well, we've got 2 options of speed for the car. And of course we can times it by 2 if we want. So we've got 3 options. Then it's as fast as a bike is. So actually, really, where I've got vehicle bike speed, saloon speed, I should just have vehicle fast speed, vehicle medium speed. Yeah, let's do that. Any slower than that, and they really are walking pace. Hello, bud. Nice to have you with us, man. Thanks for the follow. Massive, man. To think I really didn't think I was going to get to 50, but now, I think I've got well over 60 now. Brilliant. I love Twitch. I think I am going to have a break in a bit because I do some late night coding. So I'll probably come back in about an hour and a half with a little bit more. I've got a few things I need to do before then, really, before it gets too late. It looks goofy, that vehicle movement thing, but like I say, we've got now 4 options for speeds for cars, or at least 3. And yeah, we need to change it so the bikes change speed and stuff. I want to try a different seed as well. Oh, it didn't even work. Of course, vehicle bike speed is not. For now, I'll just make all bikes fast. And then no, that's going to be normal. Did I say medium speed? And then slow speed. Oh, I don't like it. 3, 2, 1. Ah, I thought I got rid of the left stuff. For now, they're not even in. We're not even calling these right now. Okay. It's sweet. Just got to refine the spawning routine so that it won't. If it's if it's going to collide with a car, we'll just won't spawn. That will also remove the problem that it's spawning too many cars. It's a really difficult game already. That's the only problem. It seems too hard already. I don't think I could even get past level 1, especially when the other lane's back in there. Cheers, Micro. I definitely will come back later, even if it is just for like another 45-minute or an hour sort of length. Do you know what I'm happy the most about is where I made it where you can walk in there? Because if you actually play this game, you'll feel it. You can walk, you try and walk right and you can't. So it's like you're in the heart. Then you press left and out you pop. So I like that. And that only took 2 minutes. yeah, loads more to do. Sadly, I've got to get off because it's getting a bit late and I've got a few things I need to do before it gets late. But they won't take me that long, and then I'll be back online for a little while. Hope to see you there. I'll get going right now. But, yeah, enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks, bud. You should take a look back at my other videos. I've done one called Mikey, and it's a pucker game, but we ran out of memory space. But it's much more impressive than this one, really. But yeah, thank you very much. I'll be back soon. Hope to see you again. See you soon. Have fun. Bye bye.